Good morning, I'm Vinny Testaverde.
And I'm Michael Stanley, and welcome to the Vinny Testaverde Show. Well, I wish we had better news about last week. Kind of a rough one for everybody involved, huh?
Yeah, it was. You know, we went out early in the game. First quarter, we played great, but we had a lot of mistakes and a few penalties that were very costly to us in the ball game.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take a look at some of the highlights that went down last week against the Steelers, and you can tell us what went on here.
Sounds great. You know, we opened up the first series, and we moved the ball right down the field. You know, this pass right here is a pass to Walter Reeves, who makes a big catch over the middle for 22 yards. This next pass, again, we munched the ball down right to the goal line, fake a run up the middle, and throw it to Walter Reeves for the touchdown. Seemed like it was going to be a great day for the Browns. This next pass, the linebacker blitzes. I'm looking for a tight end to look for the ball, hit him on a quick pop pass, but he never gets his head around to see the ball, and this guy comes up with the interception. Come right back, move the ball down the field, and we stop short, and Matt Stover puts it through for 3. They get the ball here. O'Donnell looks off one way, comes back, and hits Thigpen for a 31-yard touchdown, and the game is 10-7. Cleveland's up. They kick the ball to us, and Randy Baldwin receives it and makes a great return, and Randy's really been playing well for us on special teams all year long.
He's having a great year.
This next play kind of really was a big letdown for us because we've worked on it. It worked great in practice, and it was a reverse pass by Michael Jackson to Eric Metcalf, but somehow Tommy Bardell decides he's going to run down the field, and this is not what we practice during the week. But, you know, you can see Tommy's disappointed there. This next play, they get the ball back, and Foster goes up the middle for 14 yards, and they march the ball down on us, and Foster then takes a handoff in the goal line and scores from 1 yard out. Now Pittsburgh's up 14-10, and you know, we're trying to get back in it. Again, they kick the ball off, and Randy Baldwin returns it for 35 yards. I mean, you know, not much we can say. I mean, he's been doing it. You know,
pretty consistent this year.
He's been giving us great field position. We just have to take advantage of these opportunities on offense. This next pass here is intercepted by Perry. The pass is actually to Mark Carrier. It's just an underthrown ball. Had I thrown it a little higher, and it probably would have been a completion, but that's on me. Pittsburgh then has the ball, and they throw a quick slant here, and Eric Turner just puts a great hit on the guy, drops the ball. It was fantastic. This next pass, I'm looking for the deep post route to Mark Carey. I come off to Michael Jackson, who, to me, really was unsure of what his route was, and right there, Woodson makes a great play, guesses on the curl route, and comes up with the interception. And despite all the mistakes we made up to this point, all the interceptions, we actually drop back, throw a touchdown to tie the game up, and they call us for a holding penalty, which was very suspect because our right tackle had tripped and fell down, and their guy trips over him, so it looks like he's taking him down with his hands, but it really doesn't happen that way.
That was a beautiful pass, too.
You know, it's just one of those games that we let get away from us, and we're not going to be able to afford that too many times during the next few weeks here if we're going to have a chance to reach our goal and get to the playoffs.
How easy is it as a team and as an individual to put a game like that behind you and get ready? I mean, I know that's what they stress, but is it that easy?
Well, it's never easy. It's been a long week for the Browns, and we feel like we're ready for this week against the Cardinals, but I think there's a lot for us to learn from that game, and maybe it's a good lesson for us as well.
Now, the other thing would be, it always seems like the first Browns this season and a lot of late last season, first half, great first half, second half, not so good. Do you have anything, any feelings about that?
Well, we just have to realize that when we have an opportunity to really put our opponents down and score some points and take them out of the game, that we have to go ahead and be aggressive and do that, and we can't let up at that crucial point in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, today's another day. We'll take it to those buddy guys. What the heck? When we come back, we're going to hook up with the Browns offensive coordinator, Steve Crosby, so don't go away.
Welcome back to the show.
Now, Vinny, you guys have a brand new offensive coordinator this year in Steve Crosby, and we caught up with him out of training camp this week, so let's find out about Mr. C.
The things we're doing on offense really right now have been good. We've had a lot of plays out there to be made, and we're not quite there yet. We've missed on some things, and really, is Sunday, that game, if we hit on 3 of those passes early that we've got, this score gets out of hand now, and this is a totally different game and a totally different outlook on what really happened on Sunday. And it was just overshadowed by, the fact of losing number 1, which we shouldn't have. And secondly, we made some critical mistakes. He is the core of the whole thing. I mean, he's the guy that takes a snap and handles the ball on every snap, and everything he does directly affects everybody else. So, you don't want to say necessarily leader, because he is the leader of this offense, but necessarily there's other people on this team that are also leaders too. So, but he's the guy that directly, runs this offense, and he's the main guy. That's the excitability, I'd say. He's got great talent. He's scary at times, and he scares most people. And just like Sunday in that game, wherever he went, there was 2 people falling, and he still made plays. And that's the kind of a player he is, and that's the type of thing he helps our offense. And that's why this offense could be explosive, is because his ability is to open everything else up. This guy has really played well this year. He's really improved in a lot of areas, and he, in my opinion, is right now about the same place I saw Tom Rathman in his second year with the 49ers, and I think they're a lot alike. Explosive. He's added some explosiveness to our offense. He's coming in and giving us some big runs. He's given us a lot of toughness. He's added into that area of our offense that we've needed to have. And I'm thankful that he's come and done that, because we've thought he could do it all along, and he's finally starting to do that. Dependability, I would say. He's a very dependable guy. He's a veteran of what happens on the field day in and day out. He's been through all the things that can happen to a receiver, and he's a clutch guy, I think, in times when you need him. Big play guy. I think he gives us an opportunity at almost any time to go to him, that he can come up with the big catch, the big play, and get behind people with his speed and his size. And so there's a lot of different ways of going after people, and we have a lot of different types of talents to do it with. And I think that, when it all gets together and it all's playing on the same page and on the same number every week, I think you're going to see something pretty good. If they will be as positive about us as we are about us and what direction we're heading, we're in for a good year. Because believe me, there's a lot of, here there's no negativism, there's no downplay of what we've done. They're all high, they know they should have won, and they know it was a big game for us to win. And I think right now, the difference in the last 2 or 3 years when I've been here as opposed to now, was this game would have really negatively affected us. This one's got us charged up. I mean, this one's got us ready to go again this week, knowing that, hey, we got to go out and do it a little better. And there's a different attitude here with this group. And I think that the fans, people that don't really know that, or not around us every day and don't see that, will see that soon and find out, hopefully this Sunday, what's going to happen.
Do you spend most of your time with Steve Crosby?
Yeah, most of the day we spend talking about what we're going to do the upcoming week and getting ready for our opponent.
Now, once again, from the fan side, a lot of the questions around the Pittsburgh game plan seem to be, where was Leroy Horde after the game he had against the Bengals? Kind of disappeared here. What was that?
Well, yeah, we felt like going in that we had some good plays to run against them. I mean, there's plays there that we didn't see the results in because, just to give you an example, we had one Mark Carey on a touchdown pass that it turned out to be a sack. Another one, we had pressure up the middle, had to get rid of the ball. Michael Jackson's wide open down in the left side of the end zone. So these are the things that Steve was talking about and how we could have ran the score up. And we realized that offensively we have to play much better. We know we have a great defense. They're going to stop a lot of people, and that we can't turn the ball over. I have to be careful with my throws. The receivers have to make sure that they're coming back for the ball, not letting the defenders take the ball away from them, and the linemen know what they have to protect in order for everything else to work.
Well, speaking of defenders, we're going to come back with a guy who I would not want to meet across the line, okay? When we return, we'll meet the Browns' Pepper Johnson.
Former Ohio State Buckeye, Pepper Johnson. Welcome to the show, Pepper.
Glad to be here, Vinny.
You know, today we go into a big game against the Cardinals. You played with the Giants before when the Cardinals were in your division. You played them twice. You also played against Buddy Ryan when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that you know pretty well. What do you think we're going to have to do in today's game to beat these guys?
Coach Belichick always emphasizes being physical, and if we have never upped the tempo the previous weeks, we have to today, because Buddy is, I'm quite sure he's over there. Those guys probably, I heard that they were practicing full practice all week, and, you know, leading up to today, they probably was hitting on the plane coming over here and stuff. But Buddy will get after you, you know, and what we have to do, we can't let those guys intimidate us, and we have to stay on top of them and do a little intimidating and a little jaw-jacking ourselves, I think, you know, to calm them down. But we have to hit them where it hurts. You know, offensively, we have to hit them where it hurts, and defensively, just never allow those guys to get, you know, a good field position, because they don't have the type of offense that will just move the ball on us. But we can't, you know, we can't allow them to get, you know, get the momentum and stuff.
The word is that Jim McMahon's going to be starting the quarterback. Now, do you like that better than having Mr. Berline out there, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, Jim is, he's definitely a winner. You know, that's one thing that I guess is going against us, because McMahon always finds a way to win. You know, whether he instruments it himself, he will get the ball to the right guys and, you know, let them just do their stuff. So we can't allow McMahon to stay confident during the course of the game and just work his magic. I like him, you know, personally. I like the challenges and stuff that, you know, Jim McMahon presents. I would like to have Berline, because I want an interception. Berline is kind of like been scattering them all over the place, but you know, I just look forward to the challenge with McMahon.
You know, Michael, he's when he was with the Giants, he had one of his best games against me in Tampa Bay. He had his career best 4.5 sacks that day. It was quite a performance by him that day.
We see what we did. We knew we was going to be playing with each other, you know, someday. So I kept whispering to Vinny, you know, let me catch you a couple of times. Yeah.
But we hope that today you get the same results in sacking their quarterback, getting some interceptions, turnovers, things like that. So let's go out and have a good one.
He looks like he's ready to do that.
Oh.
I read a strange story about how you got the name Pepper. How'd this all come down?
Oh, people pick at me all the time about this. Well, I was a young guy. You know, people think that I still do it, but I was a young guy, like 2 years old, and I was sitting at the table with my father. My father, you know, probably was eating fish or steak or something, and he sprinkles pepper all over his food. I sprinkle pepper everything I eat. I sprinkle pepper over, besides the cereal. And I had a bowl of cereal, and I grabbed the pepper shaker. I knew they sprinkled something on it, so I sprinkled the pepper over my cereal. And my aunt was like, watching me, was like, oh, let's teach him a lesson. He shouldn't be trying to fix the cereal himself. I ate the whole bowl of cereal and asked for more. And ever since then, my mother said, you know, they've been calling me Pepper, so putting pepper on the cornflakes.
You do not want to have a guy who puts pepper on his cereal coming after you, that's for sure. Hey, nice to have you here. Good luck in the game today.
Appreciate
and try to get more sacks than you got on him last time, okay?
Ooh, okay, I will. I got to talk to Coach Saban about that.
You know, as Browns fans, we all like to find out what goes on behind the scenes. Here's John Tellich to help us out with it.
Bill Belichick once misplaced an entire human being.
Yeah, losing Tommy hurt us.
I'm kidding, actually, but to prove a point, the media can twist things around to make a coach sound a certain way. So, to battle back, coaches like Bill Belichick go the other direction. He spouts theory and strategy, but he doesn't give out the true meaning. He's a military general trying to confuse the enemy. He speaks Belichickese. Like after a win, he's diplomatic.
But good to win a division game on the road. Those are always tough.
Translation? Woo! Imagine losing to Cincinnati in the opener. I'd be tarred and feathered. Here's Bill setting up the Steelers game.
You know, we know that'll be a tough one on Sunday, too. That'll be another hard-nosed, hard-fought football game.
Translation? There will be hatred in the air, deadly skirmishes, and that will only be in the parking lot. And then after the Steelers game, he said,
You know, we did an awful lot of good things out there, but we just made too many mistakes and ended up beating ourselves. I don't really feel like we got beat by them.
Translation? At least that's what I'll tell Art when I have to go up into his office. Last Sunday, a holding call nullified a touchdown pass to Carrier.
It was a tough call to get in that situation, I'll tell you.
Translation? My son Steven wouldn't have blown that call. If Bill can be mum much of the time, his offensive coordinator, Steve Crosby, is Mr. Blunt.
They talk big. They gave up a ton of yardage, and they could have given up a ton more. So what Pittsburgh needs to do is pay attention to what the hell they're doing and not what we're doing, and take care of their house, because their house is not very good order, in my opinion.
And by the way, Bill is not all doom and gloom. Here he chuckles. Next week, we're hoping for a guffaw. This is John Telich.
Thank you, John. When we return, we'll take a look at today's Cardinals game with Vinny Testaverde. But first, here's something you did not know. Did you know that Leroy Kelly is the 13th Cleveland Brown to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Only the Bears, Packers, and Giants have more members enshrined in Canton. Well, in just about an hour from now, Mr. Testaverde, we're going to see what two teams that are, kind of reeling here are going to do. This should be quite a game.
It should be. Buddy brings in that 46 defense, likes to pressure the quarterback, blitz a lot, and I know it's going to be a physical game for me, and I'll be ready to get in that cold tub on Monday, but, we're going to have to really concentrate on picking up his blitzes and connecting with the receivers and making big plays from it.
But you also know as a quarterback that this is a thing that you can get a big gain out of these guys doing this, right?
Well, certainly. When they blitz all these people up in there, they bring up 8 people into the tight end area, and there's a lot of room out there for the receivers to work and get open, and if we can get rid of the ball, protect the quarterback, and giving some room to step up and throw the ball, we're going to have a great day.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody's looking forward to it. I think they want to see you really take it to Buddy Ryan, so have a real good one out there today.
We will. We're planning on it.
Okay, and when we return, we're going to take a look at the Monday night football game as Vinny and Petey and yours truly make our picks. Don't go away. Welcome back. Well, Vinny, you know what time it is now.
I sure do.
All right, let's meet the man. Here he comes.
And now, it's time for Petey, the prognosticating pooch. Petey, a longtime Browns fan and original member of the Dog Pound, has fine-tuned his prognosticating powers from the neon nightlife of Las Vegas to the sun-drenched casinos of Monte Carlo. And now, it's time for Vinny, Michael, and Petey to match wits on this week's Monday Night Game.
Here's what we got. We've got the Lions going into Dallas, 13-point underdogs. Who do you like?
I have to take Dallas at home.
Dallas at home, huh? Well, I can't go against Barry Sanders and 13 points, so I'm going to go with the Lions. But the big question is, who's Petey like here? Let's check it out. Okay, let's see. Make your pick, dude. He seems a little... Oh. He's going with you again. He's going with the
Petey.
Cowboys. These two guys, they are inseparable. Well, hey, good luck to you and Petey on that, and good luck to you today. Take it to them and bring home a W and stay safe.
Thank you. And we'll see you next week right here before the Indianapolis game.